Hello everyone. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to draw a very minimalistic cell. I won't be showing you how to draw the organelles, but this cell, you might have seen these in a lot of papers and they look good. They're better than what you can make in PowerPoint. So I'm going to show you how to draw exactly this in Illustrator, and you can add your own touch to it if you want. Right here, I have already drawn it to show you how it will look like as a final product. I have added some of my changes so that it doesn't look exactly like this, but just as good as this one. Let's start. The first step to drawing a cell would be to make a circle. You can go to the circle tool or press L on your keyboard. Let me tell you again, this is Adobe Illustrator. This is a paid software. You can get a 7-day trial, and if you are in a university, you might even have some discount, or it's possible that your university provides it. Hold down Shift and draw a circle. So let's draw something like this. This seems to be good. I will take this out of my side just so that it's not bugging me. This is my reference figure. I took it from a paper. I really like this figure. So here's a cell. But if you've seen, the cell is not exactly round. This is a very ununiform in shape. So we're going to use this thing called warp tool. You can press Shift plus R on your keyboard, and if you'll get this round thing. If you want to make it bigger, hold down Alt and hold down the left click and drag up or drag towards the center, and you can resize this thing. So let's keep it around the side of the cell. And now if you have this circle selected, you can make bulges to it. You can change its shape. You can make it look something like what that cell looks like. So I think this is ununiform enough, and I'll keep it that way. Going back to the selection tool, you can always move back to selection tool using V, the hotkey V. I highly recommend using hotkeys because it'll make your workflow very fast. Unselected. Let's make that. So this I have made it the same color as the nucleus, what actually is the cell. I will use the eyedropper button, which is the key I, and let's give it the same color as this cell. Right now I'm not going to change the colors. You are free to make changes to the colors. You can make it any color you want, but right now I'll just try to stick to exactly what the figure says. So this is the same shape. Let's give it the black stroke as it's in the figure. We got it. Let's draw the nucleus. You might see that this is a very big nucleus, and usually this means that it's a immune cell. Specifically, it's a lymphocyte, because lymphocytes are known to have giant nuclei. If you want to depict some other cell, you are free to make the nuclei smaller than it is. But for this one, I will actually just duplicate it by holding down Alt and moving it. Then resize this, and I will rotate this so that it's still irregular, but it's not exactly it's the same as this cell. Now let's make some more changes to the shape. So Shift plus R, which gives me the warp tool. Let's shorten this again so that I can make specific changes. Ooh, maybe that looks good or not. I think this is good enough. Yeah, maybe this would be good enough, or maybe not. I'm very picky about these things, but yeah, it's all up to your preference. So let's do this. This looks good, and give it the same color. Pressing I with the eyedropper, give it the same color as this nucleus. I also mentioned this note that this nucleus also has an outline, that is a stroke. So we'll give it a stroke. Okay, we got this. Now, how about we turn this around? I like this thing to be slightly bigger. Yeah. Now, a very important part about this figure that's making it look 3D, even though this is a 2D figure. The part about this figure that makes it look 3D is the shades. It looks like there's light coming from this direction. That's why this is a lighter shade and this is a darker shade, as if there's a shadow. So we are going to mimic these shades. The first part, let me So let me create a new layer. I'll call this layer, let's say I'll call it T cell. I'm making a T cell. These are two things I've drawn. I'll transfer both of these to my new layer. This looks like it's supposed to be, yeah. And I will also not hide. I'll lock this layer so that I don't move it by, this is locked. I can't change it. Now coming to this layer, I'll lock this layer just for now while I am making some changes to the cell. Let's take the cell. The first part is I want to make this shade, and the shade looks like it's been cut out. It's very parallel to the border, but it's not exactly the whole thing. So there's a very good trick to make something like that. Make a copy of this. So if you hold down Alt and drag this, you make a copy of this. Now you're going to make another copy of this. So think of it this way. I'm going to make something that, so this front figure minus the back, whatever is left, this outline, that's what I want to make. So let's select this and the back figure. Go to Pathfinder. If you don't see Pathfinder, go to Windows and Pathfinder. Then there is this thing called minus front. And now I have removed the front. So I just have this thing, right? Exactly what it's there. So undo, send it back to where it is, and let's take the color. And here is the color. Now you might see that this is not supposed to be exactly stuck to the wall. So I will reduce the size and bring it slightly closer. That's about it on the other side. So now let's make the same thing on the bottom side. So again, going to the bottom layer, make a copy, and then make another copy, but this time you want to see what kind of shape you want. So anything that is between, let's say if I take an overlap of my new shape and the old shape, the remaining part is what's going to stay. So I want this part to stay. Okay. Again, select the top thing, the top layer, and the copy that we made before. Click on minus front. And we got another one like that, which this time we will make it a darker color. So if I did not have this reference, if I did not have this reference, all I have to do is take the same color as the bigger color. And here the color guide, if you don't see the color guide, go to window, color guide. It shows me all the different shades. So I can try a darker shade of this color, which will give me about the same thing as a shadow effect. But for now, I will stick to exactly what's there in this figure. So here is a shadow. And as before, it's not supposed to be stuck to the edges. So I will reduce the size and again align somewhat to the corner. Looks somewhat all right. I think I might be extending. Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. Let's reduce the size of this nucleus. I think it's a way I've drawn it way bigger than it's supposed to be. Okay. I'm still not happy with this shape. Maybe this will do. So we got the outer edge. Now if you see, there's another shade, a slight shade lighter. So for that, again, we will go, let's just make a copy of this. And instead of making something new, I will use this tool called the eraser tool. The eraser tool, or Shift plus E, it lets me erase things, but only in that particular layer that I have selected. And these edges, we can smoothen these edges later. Let's see if the smooth tool would work. Yeah, usually the smooth tool works very well. Here is the smooth tool. You can also do the same thing for the other one. If it doesn't work that well for you, go to the curvature tool. The curvature tool. There is a shortcut for that. And you can manually change the curvature. So these are inflection points. I will delete some of the inflection points just so that it's easier. First thing I need is I don't want this to make a very sharp edge. After that, let's change the color to what it is in the figure. So it is a slightly lighter shade of what was in the edge. Press eyedropper And let's take this one. So it's a slightly lighter shade of what's there. Go to the warp tool. You can also use the warp tool right here to move this thing around and very slightly, very subtly change its shape. I'll make this tool shorter with the Alt and holding down the left click, and I can make these slight adjustments here. So the cellular part looks alright. You can go ahead and make some more changes. I think this needs more of blending with this layer. That's probably why it looks strange. We need to make it smaller, and let's use the curvature tool to fine tune this stuff. Yeah, not bad. Remember, this, I'm extremely zoomed in right now, so it won't be looking like that normally. And I think also can be made smaller than that it is. Minor adjustments. Again, some warp tool. I like the warp tool. It's makes things very, very flexible. You can make so many changes. Yeah, this looks fine to me. Then we are going for, actually this part is still bugging me. I think I'm going to have a very slight, so I want this edge to almost merge into the bigger shadow, the darker shadow, and have a common thickness. Yeah, now I feel much better about this. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing to the nucleus. Now I see that because of this very weird bulge in the nucleus, it won't look good. So let's flatten this. Let's slightly flatten this thing. Yeah, I like this better. Since my cell is almost ready, I will lock these layers so that I don't accidentally move them. It's very important. Sometimes it happens and you are stuck with a whole set of misaligned layers. So same thing as before, make a copy of this layer and then another copy right here. Hold on, it didn't copy. Yeah, now. So I have 3 layers. Using these 2 layers, I will make a cutout of this extra part. This cutout needs to be the same color as this one. This is so there are again 2 dark, there is a lighter shadow and there's a darker shadow. So let's work with the darker shadow first. And make it slightly smaller so that it doesn't stick to the outline. And we're going to make a similar thing again. Here's a copy, and then this time I need a bigger shadow. You can change this, the size of this, if you want to manually change the way your shadow should look. I think that will be a better shadow. Yeah. Select the other layer. Again, we are taking a cutout of what's remaining between the intersections, except the intersections. So here is a bigger layer, and let's give it the lighter shade. Yeah, here is the lighter shade, and it's actually, this layer is behind the darker layer, so even though it overlaps, it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, we need to cut out those parts. And let's use the good old warp tool to make it behave properly. So remember, this part is behind the darker layer, so it won't show. So you get a little bit more a little bit more freedom to do stuff. And I'll only select this layer so that I don't move the other one by mistake. And here we have the darker side. We almost have the darker side. Now let's get the lighter side. So same rule, I will lock these two, the shades that we have made. Same rule as before, make a copy and then a copy again here. Select these two layers, minus front, and I've got this part, which will be the lighter shade. So I'll use the eyedropper and take this color. Now I see that I may have a lot of this excess that I don't need. So let's use the eraser tool, Shift plus E, or just go for eraser tool right here in the same line as knife and scissors, and delete this part. Now a very important part would be to smoothen this so it doesn't look like an abrupt ending. Nobody likes abrupt endings. And here we got this. We've got the cell. If you want, you can even add this. So these are just 3 white circles. It looks like a reflection, but it's actually just 3 white circles with a slight transparency. So in line with this, I will go to the circle tool or press L. Let's see where they've drawn it. Yeah, it's towards the edge, right? And there are 2 smaller circles. All of these are white in color. And you can even add a slight transparency. I think at 80% transparency would look good. If you don't see the transparency bar here, go to Windows and Transparency. And here, it looks, actually this might be a higher transparency than you would want. 95% might, maybe looks better, yeah. And now you've got a cell. So this is what I drew before. And of course, since these are irregular shapes, it's very hard to draw the same thing again. But yeah, you have got a cell. The interesting part, the best part about all of this is, if you have noticed, journals like Nature, Science, they have a very unique design format. All of their figures look very consistent. And the way they do is, when they make a new type of design, they save these designs. So I'm going to unlock these so that now I can use it. This is the whole cell that I've used in a single layer. What these journals do, or the professional graphic designers do, is, since they'll have to reuse these cells, they save these figures as symbols. So I'll select the whole thing, go to symbol. If you don't see symbols here, again, Windows and symbol. Drag it to the symbol corner. It'll ask you what you want to name it. Let's call it T-cell. Now the fun thing is, once you have this symbol, there is a whole set of new things that you can do when it's saved as a symbol. So for example, if I want to, let's say I want to show that, let's say I want to show a couple of cells right here for whatever kind of illustration I'm doing. There is this whole set of tools that are just for symbols. So for symbol sprayer, if I use symbol sprayer and I select this, I can spray a lot of these symbols. Then I can go for symbol sizer and I can resize each of these. If you hold down Alt, you can downsize these. If you go to the symbol shifter, you can move these wherever you want, closer together. And the best part is, since they are part of a symbol, you can't individually change them like a regular figure, but they are very light on your processor so that it doesn't slow down your computer completely. And let's go again to symbol sizer and small these, make it smaller. You can even change their transparency through this symbol screener. Let's say I want to show these 3 cells as slightly lighter. Let's say I want to show these, I want to change the tone color of these cells. So if I want to make these greener, I go to symbol strainer, check green color, and just this one I can make it slightly greener. If I want to make something red here, I can make it a redder color. So you can use this tool to actually make different kind of cells. Let's say you are showing something like a bad T cell, so an inflammatory T cell like a T helper 1 cell, and there is a regulatory T cell, right? These are the good T cells that prevent inflammation. And this is your T helper 1 cell. You could show, so first if I want to show this, first I'll go for symbol sprayer. I'll spray one, reduce its size because I don't have space for all that, and I'll spray more. So all of the others that I'm spraying should be similar size. Okay. Yeah, let's delete that one. Move these across using the symbol shifter, and let's say I want to show T-regs as green colors, so symbol stainer and get them as green. So this way I'm just making my cells look slightly different while it's the same drawing. And you can even spin them. This is something I do so that it doesn't look like a copy paste. You can spin these individual figures so they don't look like they have been copied. So you just drag each symbol and rotate. Then for T helper 1 cell, I can go again, I can spray some, and this time I'll stain them as red. Of course, in real life there is no staining, but you know what I mean. So now you have the same drawing, but you can show them as different cells. Just so that I tell you that these are real things, as in you can use these in your real proposals, in your presentations. Here's a presentation that I've made. It's a kind of proposal, and I should not be giving away too much information, but right here I have used an induced IT reg as a bluish shade of that cell and a T helper 17 as a reddish shade of cell. Here's these cells coming out of a mouse, and you can do all sort of these things in Adobe Illustrator. I hope this tutorial was helpful. Now you know how to make a minimalistic but a very good looking cell, and probably you can impress a lot of people. That includes your professors or anybody who you are presenting your data to. Thank you guys for watching this. Do subscribe to the channel and let me know if you want to see more of these Let's Draw tutorials. Bye bye.